it going, because that does, like with it, there's gonna be some wastage at the front, you know. But just chopping a bit off the front, that's not a big deal. Because I'm just trying to get into. I don't want to be sort of too
dogmatic.
Yeah. Should I be? Right. Okay. Just like think. Just trying to work out what to think about. That's good stuff.
Get high.
Now, if everybody, like in a cinema, basically, if they just had one of these, I think it would heighten their viewing experience. I mean, that would actually make even, you know, the worst Walt Disney film in the world, that make it really, really sort of viewable. In fact, they should probably sort of pass it through the ventilation systems and stuff like that. That would just give, you know, mind expanding drugs would be very useful. I think myself that it's not really worth watching TV. I don't see why people are actually interested in these inane like presenters who are just always so bright and cheerful and happy and stuff like that. They remind me, actually, you did used to have presenters who were sort of quite serious and stuff like that and all of this sort of stuff. But now they seem to be all like Radio 1 DJs from the 70s. You know, they always were so, oh right, here we are now. And of course they're all paedophiles, so probably all all the current batch of presenters will find out in sort of 15, 20 years time that they were all paedophiles as well. So that's one theory. But the thing, so you've got the things that have got a presenter in, that is so inane and just rubbish. Then you've got reality TV, and I just don't see why you'd be particularly, because you've got all that anyway. You just look around you. You've got people, and then you've got the things like the TV dramas and made for TV and stuff like that. And then what they do is they have like they basically have 40 hours of something that should have taken about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, like the overall story, but they're stringing it out, and they put a load of like, oh, we can put some relationship stuff in, oh, that would be so interesting and everything. And that's really pandering to sort of a female audience. They tend to like the relationship stuff. I did like, actually, when, you know, Spider-Man with comics, the first thing, he was really the first one that really put proper relationships into a superhero, and that was an important step. Although you might say, oh well, Superman, he had Lois Lane or something, it wasn't really the central feature. But the central feature of Spider-Man was that he was this hard done by kid trying to take photographs, and he had his Aunt May and stuff like that, and he didn't really have any friends, and everything went wrong, and you know, he'd run out of this, and so he was the first one who actually had like relationships. But now it's just gone absolutely balmy. You know, you can't even see anything within a sort of a story, and that's all you're actually seeing. My main reason why I don't really like TV, like the drama things, as opposed to film, is that film is much more emotive. I mean, if you go to a cinema, I mean, like loads of times, the Americans are particularly good at knowing which buttons to press. I mean, there's loads of times I'll sit at the end, even if I don't want to, I'm sort of crying my heart out because of the feeling of like with a and yeah, you never do that, do you? Even if the main character in EastEnder dies, you don't really care. You just sort of go, oh bloody hell, Dot Cotton died last night, and you go like, so what? You know, you don't really care. So, and you all go like, wow, that was great, or something like that. Whereas TV is just. They're just nothing. I'll do that again. I think more extended. And then you just sit there and like the real proof of the pudding, because people say like, oh no, but there's such great quality and everything. But you can tell if you give me 30 seconds of something, even if it is massive production budget on a TV thing, it is TV. It has that TV feel. It doesn't have a filmic feel. It doesn't have the emotive quality. And I think people quite like that. They like the fact that they can just go away and then come back. That's the other thing I sort of notice, that like people, they'll just stop watching and just go away, and they've missed a great big lump, and they don't even sort of care about it. But you wouldn't do that in a film, would you? You're sitting in a cinema and you sort of go away and you sort of then come back again, and that sort of that I think shows an important difference. The other thing I notice, like with TV, and I find that, which is really weird, you get all these people and they say they're not influenced at all by the adverts and stuff like that, and yet they clearly are. A friend of mine, she was actually sort of sitting watching the thing, and then like about 2 hours later she suddenly started talking about getting a fitted kitchen and stuff like that. And then she ended up looking at Ren online. And when I said, well, those commercials, didn't you notice? I didn't notice any commercials, but in actual fact I was speaking to her, and I was actually like in front of the thing, and she was like trying to look over my shoulder, look at the commercials. And I go like, the commercials seem to be more important to you. If it was halfway through the programme, you wouldn't have worried about me blocking your view. But the commercials, it was like really gripped by the commercials. And I know there's quite a lot of people sort of do that, and they are tremendously influenced by the things. I think like marketing budget is so important if you want anybody to do anything really. You've got to sell it, otherwise there's no point in making it at all. Anyway, so that's some of my views on TV. The average person, apparently, I'm told, there's such a wealth nowadays, isn't there, of all this information. So it used to be that you could actually sort of say something and it would just be an interesting fact. Nowadays, you'll always get some dickhead who immediately gets their mobile phone out and like checks the fact and all of this. And you go like, oh right, okay, so it's not so interesting. But anyway, so this fact was that it's 4 hours watching. And then they'll believe whatever it actually says, just because it's online. They seem to believe it, and I go like, well, it's not necessarily true, but I believe anyway that the average person watches 4 hours of TV a day. Now, when you've got people like me who maybe watch an hour a day, and very often nothing a day, then that means there must be people who watch like 8 hours easily.
Oh yeah.
And so often, I just go like, people are like now, and I just go like, you're now really like just in love with your TV set. And I think that's something that COVID has really done for people. It's just, it's got right now, they just go like, great, I will sit and I will just watch TV and TV and TV and TV. And they used to go out and meet people, stuff like that. I don't know whether we'll ever recover, to tell you the truth, because it requires effort, it requires energy to actually go out. And of course they're frightened of going outside their box now. Even like going to the pub, I think, would be a sort of a major thing for it. And so many people now, they go like, well, what's the point of going out to the pub? Because it's,
expensive.
Well, it's not, but it depends where you sort of go. Because the Weatherspoons, in fact, it was actually cheaper. Pint of Abbott's in Weatherspoons was actually cheaper than getting a pint somewhere like in a can. It is like lots. To me, that you've got the interaction and stuff like that, and quite frankly, the beer tastes a lot better when you've actually got something like that. Okay. Do you want to try a different subject?
Cut.